For this project, you're going to need a large piece of colored paper, glue, scissors, and I have a couple of tracers available for you. You'll need a large tracer and a small one. To begin with, we're going to trace our tracers onto our piece of paper. Now that you have them both traced on, go ahead and cut them out. Don't throw away the scraps. We can use these later. We're going to make the top part of the mask right now. So in order to do that, we have to make it three-dimensional. Right now we have a flat piece of paper. So what I need you to do next is take your white glue and glue around right beside the triangles here in a triangle fashion. And you'll bring this over. Then you have to hold this down for at least a minute. Go ahead and make sure that all spaces are covered with glue. And then you just wait for a few minutes. You'll do the same thing to the other side. This is going to make it three-dimensional. Now I'm finishing up with the top part of my mask, and now I have to make the bottom part, and I'll do the same thing, just connecting this with glue to make it become three-dimensional. It's going to look like the chin to the mask. Okay, now we have the top finished, or at least the base and the bottom, and we'll be putting them on our face like this so that they can talk. And now we have to make the rest of the features on the mask. So we're going to be adding a nose, ears, eyes for our next steps. All right, so we have our top and our bottom done, and now we're going to make the nose. So I happen to have some scraps here. If you don't have any scraps, you need to go up and get the same color, because our color of our skin on our face is the same as the skin on our nose. So I'm going to take this piece and fold it in half. And if you prefer, you can go ahead and draw the shape of a triangle on there. But I'm just going to cut. I'm going to start on the fold and end on the fold. Lots of different ways to make a nose. This is one way, just making a triangle. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to give it if you want to give it a little bit more detail, you certainly can. Thinking about the nose itself, how you can see the nostrils, giving it a little different shape. Also, I want you to think about going larger, really big, and then cutting down if you need it smaller. So what I'm going to do is place this right on top, and we'll place it right down at the bottom. You see how I'm doing that? And how you do that is you can bend it a little bit if you want to, but I need you to glue along the edge here on both sides, and then we'll place it on our mask. Now when all is said and done, I should be able to at least get one finger up the nose. Yep, you heard me. So make it three-dimensional, okay? Make it come off from your mask a little bit. We're going to make some ears now for our mask. We have the nose on there. Now we have to make some ears. I don't have any more scrap of the orange, so what I'm going to do is take and cut some out of my of a new piece of paper. Now I want to make sure that I'm utilizing this paper the best that I can, so I'm going to cut off the edge of it so that I can still have this much to still use. So I'll fold my piece of paper in half, and then I'm going to draw the letter C. Again, make it larger than you normally would, because you can always cut it down, but you can't add any more to it. So I'm making that quite large. And I'll cut that out. I need 2 pieces, so I'm not starting on the fold, ending on the fold like I did with the nose. I'm trying to make 2 pieces. And I have 2 ears. Now, what you'll do is fold back the ear, and you'll do that to both sides. And I'm laying them in front of me so that my ears, I can see that this is how they go on. You'll place these on the side of your mask, like so. To make the eyes, you'll need a white piece of paper, a scissors, a glue, and probably a couple of other colors as well. I have 2 other colors, but you might need more than that. Start out the eyes. I'm starting with the white piece of paper. That's the base. And I'm going to take a white piece of paper and fold it in half. Now, if you want to, you can draw this out first. But what I'm doing is cutting kind of a football shape or a lemon shape of your eye. And according to your artist, you might have a different shaped eye than maybe your neighbor. I cut all the way around it so that I end up having 2 eyes. I'll set those down in front of me. Otherwise, I'm going to take another piece of paper, a color for the iris. I'm choosing kind of a blue teal. It's a little abstract, but it works well. The only color I'm going to ask you not to use is a red. You can use any other color. So I fold this in half. I need to make a circle for my iris, and I want to make it as big as possible. Now, the reason that we always start big is because you can cut it down later on. So if I put this on my eye, I might decide that that's too big. So if that's the case, then I'll just keep these together and trim them down. I'm going to make another circle out of black for the pupil of the eye, and then I'll glue them all together. Now I have the parts of the eye all glued on. I decided to add a little white, kind of make it cartoon-ish. And when you are gluing things down, especially with parts that are flat, you want to go around the entire back side, or edges at least. And sometimes I like to even take my finger and just kind of wipe that glue around so I don't have a lot of excess. But I'm sure to make sure that everything is covered really well. So you can see that the eyes are a little exaggerated on this. I did that intentionally. This is a mask. It should be exaggerated. So I'm pressing this down, holding it down, and again, this is going to take a little wait time. White glue is the best for this. That's because it holds it down so well, but it does take a little wait time, so I'm just holding on to it very tightly, letting it dry under my hand. And then I'm going to add the eyelid and any other details that I want to add to this. Again, now I'm using another piece of paper for the eyelid. I'll fold it in half again, using the edge of the paper if possible, just so that I make sure that I'm not being wasteful with the paper. So now I have kind of a curve for the eyelid. I want to make sure that it fits over the lid itself, and it looks like this will, and maybe even be a little large, and that's okay. I would want to err on the side of being too large, because I'm going to show you how to curve this up. And I put another little curve on the inside as well. So I will have 2 eyelids for the top part. And to make this curved, I just bring this between my finger, and it curves up real nice for you. And on the top of the eyelid is where I'm going to add a bead of glue. And here I want to be kind of generous, because I need this to kind of fall down onto my piece of paper. And I'll place that on top of the eyelid. Again, you should be able to get at least a finger underneath the eyelid. So if I went, if I went like this, I can get my finger underneath it. There's a little wait time again to make sure that this is fully secured down. I'm going to show you one more little detail that you can add on your mask. I have the eyelids on. They're drying a little bit, but I'm going to add some eyelashes. Again, this might be something that you don't add. The requirements are the flat pieces, the white, the iris and the pupil, and then an eyelid. but you don't have to go beyond that. If you want to add eyelashes or eyebrows or anything else, maybe a lower lid, you certainly can do that. So what I did is I took 2 pieces of paper and I kind of shaped them into a rectangle, and now I'm adding little divisions, little cuts into my piece of paper. Not cutting all the way through. I have 2 of them because I cut 2 at the same time. And what I'm doing is curling these up, but they're still connected by the lower half. And I'll glue on the lower half like that. And then I'll place it underneath the eyelid so that I have a nice eyelash. And then I can curl these up. Once it's dried, I can curl them up a little bit more and give it the shape that I want. This is our finishing station. You can see I have some hot glue guns, some sticks that we're going to use for the mouth. And over here I have some packaging tape and some pre-cut string. So you're going to come back here once you have all of your extras finished and the lower lip at the very least added onto the chin, then you can come back to this station. I hope that we can see kind of what's happening here. I'm getting the chin ready to go here. And what I did was I cut a little piece of paper and I folded that down. That gave me a place to put the hot glue and glue on my stick. Then I took a piece of paper, it can just be a scrap, and I made an L out of it. Do you see that? I put some glue on the lower half of the chin and on the stick, hot glue, and then I added that L shape to it to add a little extra support. I think this will make it sturdy enough for us to use it as a mouth. Okay, now we're going to add this top part and add the strings on both sides so that we can tie it around our head. So what I did here is I have my completed top part of the mask, and I need packaging tape. So I'm going to take a little bit of this tape off, and behind the ears, or somewhere on the side of your mask, you're going to place the tape down on the front part of the mask and bring it around to the back side, just like that. What that's going to do is help strengthen where I'm putting my string. I use a hole punch, and I'm going to try to line it up with the other one that I've already made. Punch my hole, and then use my other string to go through that hole and tie it on. The packaging tape is pretty important for this. I think if we don't use it, the strings will just pull right through the paper. So you need that to strengthen it up. Then you'll be able to tie it on. Okay, I have the top part and the bottom part done. You're going to put this on like this, and when you talk, your mouth is going to be moving. When you talk, your mouth will be moving. So, now you're going to get into your small groups and decide what 2 lies you're going to tell about your artist and what truth you are going to tell about your artist. The truth will be coming from the real artist. So, 2 lies, 1 truth. Ba ha ha. Pa. Should be fun.